first time that I did this was when I was about 10 years old, and how to make a rope halter. And the judge was Frank Hedges, who ended up being my ag teacher, and was a really nice guy. And I got done with the halter, and I had just tied it incorrectly and up the knot with my hand covering the knot, and said, "Then this is how you do it." And he said, "Wait a minute, take your hand off there and come back, and I want to see that knot." It was wrong. I said, "I guess I just went the wrong direction." I got a blue anyway. Rope halter making. Nylon rope is what we use mostly because it's hard to get good hemp rope anymore. So nylon, you have to put a hog ring, one of these clamps on the ends, and then you make your cuts, and then you heat it so that it doesn't fray. For a cow halter, you go about 18 inches back from, your short end should be about 18 inches long. Heifer would be 2 inches, a large heifer would be a couple inches smaller. A calf would be about 14 inches. So you start at this point with the short end, and you raise one of the strands by just untwisting the rope, and then you put the long end of the rope up through your raised strand. You can see that. And this will make your primary loop, which is going to be on the heifer's left side. Now this loop should be probably an inch or 3/4 of an inch in radius, and it should be open enough to let the halter, the end of the halter, go through it easily. After you've done that, then you raise on the long end. You go back 2 strands and raise on the long end. You raise one of the loops and pass the short end that on that loop with the short end. So we've gone from, and now we've got the smooth side of this halter is on the is next to the heifer, so it's never irritating. So now we've got a short end, we've got a loop, and we've got a nice smooth surface for the heifer's face. Then we need to go on the inside of the short end, go back about an inch and untwist the rope, and you create 3 loops in that rope just by going against the grain, untwisting it. You'll see that's a simple thing that you'll see when you do it. Now, if we've done it correctly, we're going to be, this sharp point of the end is not going to be hitting the heifer's face. And we're just going to pass this rope through Then you take the middle loop that you've created and pass that through, that raised strand. Then you take the loop that is closest to the short end, and once more with a long end, pass it through the raised strand. Difficult with old hands. Okay. Then you just keep pulling up in your long end. It looks a little crazy at this point. You have to trust yourself that you're still doing it right. And you've got yourself a rope halter.
All right.
I used to cut all these ropes and get them ready when I was watching football. I would do these without looking. So I just had a measurement on my hand of the first bend. And when you, after you've made the halter, and from then on, it's a good idea to roll up your halter like this, and not try to wind it around your loop that goes around the ears, but wind it in a circle. And the reason for that is when you're using the halter, it all, and then just take a little half hitch, do that. When you're using this halter and you're trying to catch a calf, it's shaped nicely to go out and catch that heifer, sometimes as they're going by at 20 miles an hour. But if you do this, you don't have a twisted rope. The rope has some memory, and it will just never come out nicely. But if you do this, then you can very quickly put a halter starting from the behind the ears and then over the nose and then pull up. That's another reason why you keep a little room in here in this side so that you can easily maneuver that. So then when you're finished, you just make a circle, wrap it up that way, finish with just a little loop, and you're done.